Okay, my lovely Scorpios. I want to start with the image, which at first I didn't really like, but then when I pulled the cards and really got the sense of what it was about, the image continued. I went, yes, this is good and this is right for you. So the image that I got was you were filleting a fish. I know, not a pretty image. However, it was important that you were filleting a fish, and it was a fish that was very silver. And as you were cutting it, there was no blood. You were taking the guts and you were putting them aside so that you had beautiful, pristine fillets. You had everything that was usable, the bones, the skin, and all the other parts I won't mention. And then you had the garbage part that was unusable. But then I realized it was a silver fish, and this is a very, very strong symbol in Christianity. And I remembered it because of a very specific dream that I had, a vision that I had many years ago. This is not about Christianity. This is about religion. This is about religion, and this is about you having reached a point in your life. Okay, so I'm going to say this. I believe this is for some of you who are in the midst of doing this. Some of you have already done it. Some of you are in the process where you're working into doing this. But I believe this is very strongly a Scorpio energy for whoever is expanding their consciousness and really wishing to grow in that internal wisdom. So whatever stage you're at, see how it resonates with you. I get love, I get power, I get virtue, I get there is another me watching me, I get humility, I get neutrality, I get all these cards that say to me, shivers, you are at a point where you have moved beyond the belief in the rules and the regulations that have been put upon you. And you have started to move beyond, whether it's a religion, whether it's a culture, a family, a corporation, I don't know what. But I feel like this is deeply rooted in your spirituality somehow. This is deeply rooted to your internal wisdom that takes you beyond the rules that have been imposed upon you, the things you have been told were right and wrong. I feel this is you having moved so deeply into that internal state of what love is really about and defining the true nature of love and compassion and goodness, that and what power really is, which is love. And something that is exuded and embodied, not enforced. And what I feel is that, again, there is another me watching me. That to me is the understanding and the awareness of the fact that you have a higher consciousness, that you are a higher consciousness. That's the correction that I'm getting. It's not just that you have a higher consciousness, it's that you are a higher consciousness. And you're understanding, you're beginning to understand exactly what that means. In the process of doing this, some of you are really having to look back over the past and look back over things that have perhaps held you away from that acceptance and that understanding of you as a center and a source of love, and you as a center and a source of power, and as an expanded conscious being. That in the looking over at whatever the lessons were, the instructions, the experiences, you're being asked, be fierce about choosing your higher conscious reality, the understanding of who you are, standing for that, not letting the rules of the past stop you from embracing your personal power. And at the same time, when you're looking over those things that have held you back, if emotions come up of anger, of sadness, of betrayal, whatever comes up around that, you're being asked to be as neutral as you can in terms of judging or blaming either yourself or other people. Please understand, that doesn't mean that There aren't emotions that might need to come up and clear out of the way, depending upon where you're at. It's important to be able to embody those, not embody those. It's important to be able to honor those, acknowledge them, and let them out of your body if you have embodied them, if you have held them into your physical reality. So that can be part of the transmutation into higher consciousness. And sometimes it's really essential to do that. If you have the ability to do that on your own, great. If you don't, please reach out and get proper help to be able to do that. Because you don't need to hold on to other people's rules that don't suit your true heart. There's no point. Why waste time doing that? Loyalty to the past is just a form of romanticism. Loyalty to the past for the sake of familiarity, if it is no longer in alignment with who you are and what you believe, serves no one. And trust me, I've had the experience very recently of speaking to some spirit who've passed over, who had very strict views. They no longer have them. So they understand now that they are no longer in their physical bodies. They have a deeper understanding. They're still learning on the other side, but they have a much deeper understanding of what spirituality is not. So I encourage you, my very dear Scorpios, this feels like you're really for many of you, at a momentous time in your spiritual growth and in your emotional expansion. And I just want to remind you that, when we talk about spiritual growth, it's not just about spiritual growth in terms of understanding there's a higher consciousness, that we are a higher consciousness. It's about living love, and that's a joyful thing. And that brings more love to everybody, and it brings more love to you. It's about fulfillment in the nicest possible way. So it can sound very serious when we talk about it, and in a way it is, because it's so profoundly beautiful and magnificent, and it's, I believe, what we're all here for. And don't forget that in the process of training yourself to do these things that are good for you, that support you in this new way of thinking, that it's not meant to be work. It's meant to be, yes, a serious commitment to doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done for yourself, including speaking lovingly, and including taking a rest, and including cutting yourself some slack. That's all important too. And it's about learning to have a more love-filled life in every area, in every way. So I leave you with that, Scorpios, because I think this is just a darn beautiful, beautiful reading that you've got. And I'm very glad for you. Very glad for you. I leave you with that. Take care.